Okay, this is my how to dig a grave video. The first thing you need to do is mark your plot. No point in digging a grave if you haven't found the correct plot, but in this case we have, so you make sure you get that right first. Second is to mark out your grave. Now, as you can see, I've made a template because I do this all the time. However, if you're digging a grave for a relative or a friend, you might not have that, so I'll just give you the dimensions. This is a standard size casket. At the head we have 43 centimeters or 16.5 inches. You come down the length of the casket to the shoulder, approximately 70 centimeters or about 2'6". Across the shoulder you want a hole of at least 76 centimeters, and coming down to the base, 2 meters and 12 in length and 41 or 42 centimeters really at the base. Now, these are only your absolute minimum dimensions, so as we go on you will see that I probably go about 2 inches all round wider than this. Next thing to do is to mark out your hole. Like building a house, you start as you mean to continue. Where you mark out your form for the hole will be where you dig. You'll be using that for the whole of the dig. So this is the most important part really. So we're fortunate today that we're digging in the height of the summer. It's been a very dry summer here too. So as you can see, I'm giving plenty of room for error. Sometimes the makers of the caskets put wide handles on them, sometimes they don't, and one of the things you definitely want to avoid is having the casket get held up on the way down. So we err in the side of generosity with regards to the width and the depth of the plot. Alright, well, we've marked up the outside of the plot. I'm just going down the middle now so that we can remove the top turf. Not everyone wants to do this, but I do. It means that you can sort of keep some bits of it intact, and you can actually get a decent swathe out right from the start. So, now that's messy, isn't it? Order they come out will be the order they go back on again at the end. I've already done. I put them over the top at the end because they've got to go somewhere, and it gives the grass will keep growing, you know. So at least puts a bit of grass back on the top to take root and to propagate itself. Okay Marco, we're going to go on this side, I've decided. Yeah, that's it. I start off with my short, broad shovel once you get to this point, because you can remove more dirt per cut, because we don't need the long one yet because we're not down that deep. Now when you start, you've got to make sure you throw the dirt as far away as possible, because as you get further deeper it's impossible to put it that far away, and you don't want it coming back in on you when you're in the bottom of the hole. And there's a fair amount of stuff that needs to be removed. Well, we've got down through the very hard Indian summer topsoil now, and we're down to where the digging's a little bit better. We've hit the first layer of clay and it's starting to come out as it's supposed to come out. There we go. Yeah, when you're pulling it out like this, it doesn't take too long, and you just go along slowly and methodically, and we get there. Now, I just better give you a bit of a idea with regards to the undercutting of the sides. We're still on the topsoil there. It's a bit, well, actually, I can't do it until I get further down. So let's just come away like that. Not like that either. When doing the sides, if you just have the shovel like that, you just bring it up like that. Normally when the clay is a little bit softer, you'll kind of just undercut a little bit where you've been it, or sort of, I'm not sure of the word, but it'll kind of just pull the sides together and stop any cave-ins that might be thinking about happening. Yeah, no, I don't get that, that's rubbish. That's not how it's done. Oh. However, that is how it's done. Now, the philosophy of hand digging the graves, as far as I'm concerned, is that a person's lived their span of life. They probably deserve to have a little bit of sweat and maybe a tear or two in the digging of their plot, the resting place of their mortal remains. A bit more spirit in it, done methodically and slowly. It's a bit of a prayer, it's a bit contemplative. Doing this for the 6 hours or so that it takes certainly reminds me that we're mortal, that we started as dust, and that when our soul and spirit returns to our Maker, we're dust again. Right, now we start at the ends, as you can see, and try and get the spade tip into the corner so that we can just rip it up there like that. There we go. Okay, now what we do is we work back towards the middle from one end, and then we work towards the middle from the other end, so that as we get deeper we're able to stand on the highest point to deliver the swarf, the overburden, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, we've worked towards the middle, and we remove the middle.
Disregard the life he gave, when all the shame on us too much to stand, and even gospel cannot heal the pain inside the soul I feel, and no one soul on earth would hold my hand. When I lose sight of Jesus, when I lose sight of Jesus, when I lose sight of Jesus for a while, I know that he can see me there, 'cause walking right behind me near's my Savior.